Well, I'm learning about box breathing, so that's
right.
my thing.
I remember you telling me about that.
Do you know about box breathing?
I've never heard of it. Is it breathing inside of a box?
It should be. It's box breathing is to calm your state of mind, and so you breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4, hold 1, 2, 3, 4, and then exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, and then hold again 1, 2, 3, 4, then breathe in, and it's a way to relax your mind. It
diffuse the anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Does that help your anxiety?
I'm working on it.
Really?
And I have to develop the muscle more, so I keep having to do it. But I was doing it all day today, and it was like, I think I did pretty
well,
good.
You are anxiety-less, aren't you?
No, I'm not.
When have you ever had anxiety?
You guys came about an hour ago. It freaked me out.
That's fair.
No, I don't have anxiety.
Yeah, but when do you get like before show or before performance or before recording? Or during a recording, like it's going really well, I don't want to mess up.
And you know what? It's the opposite. You know when I actually get anxiety? It's when I'm not playing or being creative.
Yeah.
When my if there's a lull for me, it freaks me out. When I'm not doing something, I get really anxious. Doing the creative endeavor is fine. I don't get anxious at all. It's not
nice.
doing it.
Does travel fill that void?
The anxiety of travel is actually the booking of it.
Oh.
But
no, I'm saying when you're not being creative and you start to get anxiety and you just so happen to be traveling the world, does that help calm the anxiety down?
It does. The only thing is that during the trip sometimes, especially post-COVID, there's so many things that goes wrong.
Post-COVID, it ain't gone nowhere. We're spiking like fucking crazy.
No, I'm just talking about...
You're talking about lockdown.
I'm talking about what goes wrong during travel.
Yeah.
Whether flights are canceled or you can't get here, you can't get there, all this shit. That causes anxiety because you're in the moment like, I have no place to sleep, Yeah. And that happens. Yeah. Guess what?
What?
We're back, Max.
Hey!
This is actually, what's that, number 33.
33 over the course of 8 years.
Good to see you.
When does the theme music come in? Do we break for that, or how does that work?
I can edit in whenever I want.
Oh, okay, nice.
We've started. But Max, I have to say something. Number one, great to see you. Mm-hmm. You brought a really great red
too, buddy.
French wine
I was
we're
feeling
drinking.
the French today. Yeah, I was feeling the French. Because I saw a lot of paintings at the Getty, and I saw a lot of French art. So I was feeling the Côtes du Rhône.
Côtes du Rhône.
And can you see how good it tastes?
It's got this great sort of velvety aftertaste.
Yeah.
Vibrancy.
It's sexy.
Wait, did you say how? Can you see how good it tastes?
Yeah. Can you see how good it tastes? I did.
I think we're messing with some senses there, right?
Well, that's me.
All right, that's fair. That's good.
Well, I need to tell our amazing audience that we have a repeat guest.
Yeah.
A man who
Always a pleasure.
He is a master musician. He's a master of the macabre. Mm-hmm. He's an all-around creative dude.
Yep.
He's one of your best BFFs.
I would say he's my best buddy.
And he's...
I don't know what he say, but he don't have to say because he's got a lot of different buddies. I scaled my people way down.
I know. You're a big people scaler.
Yeah.
But I want to give a Guys Day In welcome to Mr. Brett Pearsons.
That's very kind. Thank you. That's very kind. Actually, the first time we claimed our best friendsmanship was the first show that I did.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's when I said it.
Years ago.
Yeah, I said like, oh, you're my best friend, and then you went like, me too.
I guess I didn't see it coming. Everyone winds up hating me.
Well, there you go. Because here we are years later. You guys are still BFFs, so that's good.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Good to see you. And there's so much to get to, but I have to start with something because today's a really hot day. It's the beginning of summer. And I thought we could really have a nice recording and then celebrate by going into my pool. And Max says, oh, well, Brett hates the water and everything in it. So I have to ask. Why,
I don't know if I said he hates it, but...
A pool, a jacuzzi, a shower, a bath. Do you hate it all? I mean, what's up with your...
What's with you in pools?
Yeah, or water in general.
Okay, so here's the thing. So first off, I grew up... we had a pool with a diving board and everything. So I love that.
Tell them about the pool, though, the unique trait of your family pool at your parents' house.
That it has leaks, that it has a KK on the bottom.
A KK.
KK, uh-oh.
Yeah, I know. It's very strange. My parents are named Carl and Kitty. Pearsons.
It's monogrammed.
And thankfully, they didn't go Carl, Kitty, and Kids.
Right.
Because that would have been a problem.
That would have been a really weird thing for
wouldn't have been happy
if
about
you have
that.
African American friends. You know, we're not going in
Are the
that
KKK still around? I never
Sure.
hear
Yes,
about them anymore.
they
Yes,
are.
they are.
I know they've devolved into some other malignant.
They're just a
garbage.
bit underground, but oh my God, are you
The
kidding?
actual KKK is
yeah.
still.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Hate is alive and royal.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that's true. That's true.
Yeah, absolutely. But let's
And we're looking for new members. So.
But I need to ask you a question though. But going back to your KK pool.
yeah.
Did you have a drowning experience? Did you have a bad experience? What put you into the mental space of I will not go into Lorenzo's pool?
So there are a few things that happened where, like, growing up, I've found that, like, there's a lot of things that I grew up with, like camping. Don't need it anymore. Had enough.
You're
Did
good.
all the camping on that.
You want a bed and a shower.
It's like, yeah, or just stay home.
This
Yeah,
is going to
your
be
own bed and shower.
This is going to be a two-parter. You know that, right?
I don't know anything.
I know that much.
And so growing up is like, we had a pool and we used to go to the beach, and I very fair skinned, so I would burn at the beach all the time, and I would get second-degree burns, which is like I'd be blistered all over my arms and all over my
There
back.
was no sunblock back then. There was no hat.
There was. I just didn't wear it.
Oh,
And I
okay.
didn't use it, so I was bad. And so, and then as I've gotten older and older, I get more and more fearful of things. So, ocean, done.
You're done with the ocean.
I'm
don't-
done with the
Oh,
ocean too.
I don't-
Too much sewage.
An arrow just went through my heart.
I know, but too much sewage, dude.
I'm terrified. And you like swim with whale sharks, right?
Yeah, I love everything
I
in the
love
ocean.
whale sharks. Terrified. I've heard a story about one who tried to play with one, and the whale shark grabbed them and tried to play with them, and then brought them down to the bottom of the ocean.
I've never heard that happen.
but that's you. We're talking regular people.
Well, so basically, though, you look upon water as danger.
So and then there's another thing too. It's like also I've gotten more vain, so I feel like getting into a bathing suit, I feel self-conscious.
Even though we're dudes.
I know.
Yeah.
I just get self-conscious. I go,
But back to
Don't
the
do it.
sunscreen thing, it's so funny you brought that up because he is fair-skinned. And I was hanging out with him, our wives and him and I hung out last Saturday night. It was nice, really, really nice. And he's standing in the sun. It's like twilight time, you know, and he's standing in the sun. And I'm like, Brett, are you wearing sunscreen? I'm thinking about it. Why am I thinking about what do I give a fuck? But I see that the sun is burning his skin.
And he's turning pink, right?
He's turning pink before my eyes. He's like, I don't know, blah, blah. I'm like, put on some fucking sunscreen. You're burning.
but I understand the sun. We have an understanding. And I was in it enough to like, okay, it's like getting discolored a bit, but I didn't get burned at all.
He does spend a lot of time in the
I'm
backyard.
looking at you now. The lights are off, but you're looking a little pink now.
Oh.
Look at him.
Are you wearing sunscreen today, Brett?
Does he look a
I
little
put
pink?
sunscreen on, yeah.
You did?
Yes, I
Yeah.
did.
Did you? All right.
Yeah, because I thought
What
we might be
number?
outside.
The SPF
70?
Oh, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
What
Well,
is the
maybe-
brand? Is it
maybe-
the monkey guy?
Neosporin? It was Vaseline.
Maybe this whole experience is making you just flush right now.
That's what it might be.
Flush
It might-
with excitement.
I have noticed that I do get flushed.
I think you're flush.
I might be flush.
Okay, so right now in your
Ready.
life, there's no camping in Brett Pierce's life. You're not going into a pool, KK or otherwise. You're not coming into my pool. You're not going into the ocean. Showers are okay?
Yeah, showers, obviously. I
Okay.
want to keep clean.
Good, I'm glad.
But I
Okay,
used
so
to do-
at least we're there.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm water sign. I'm a Pisces.
What the hell?
I know, right?
Oh.
So it doesn't make any sense.
So that means that basically astrology is all bullshit, is what you're saying.
Or I'm a contradiction.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
So it's that whole thing.
I think that could be it.
Yeah, don't know. So my favorite kind of shower though is that waterfall shower thing.
It's like the rain shower.
The rain shower,
You
or
like
just
that.
like the big waterfall, like
Yeah.
gushing down.
Oh, okay.
Like standing in a waterfall
That's
is
nice.
amazing. I would like ponds. I like that.
Ponds?
Ponds.
Being in a pond?
Being in a pond. But
Okay.
then again, I'm still afraid of like slugs and like, Stand By Me ruined it for me.
You built a pond.
I built a pond, but I can't fit in that.
Oh,
That's
those
tiny.
leeches that
the
stuck to
leeches.
those little boys?
Don't want the leeches. And there's stonefish. There are so many dangerous animals that are in the ocean that I'm terrified of that
Don't
stuff.
forget
All
the
right.
pollution and the broken beer bottles.
Yeah, you can also
you'll
step.
step
Oh,
on
yeah,
in
look, I got a syringe.
the glass and the turds and the piss and the COVID and
some
the
of it's-
disease and the dirty ass. People go into the ocean with their dirty asses because no one knows how to clean their fucking ass.
So is this the sales pitch to go back to the beach on the ocean? Because I don't think I'm being sold.
I actually might stop now.
And he's all about the ocean.
I love the ocean.
Hey,
Let
when's
me
the
ask.
last time you went boogie boarding before you asked?
Boogie boarding was about. I got busy, but 2 months ago.
Oh, jeez. I got busy, but 2 months ago.
Yeah.
You know, the last time I boogie boarded was with you. And we got way too far out in the ocean, and I got really scared.
You did
remember
get
that?
scared. Yeah, I do. I had to
I
rescue
had a
you.
panic attack.
You did have a panic attack. I got to
not
ask you a
good.
question though.
Yeah.
And I know some people that this is where it happened to them when they were kids. Were you one of those young guys that got scared by seeing the movie Jaws?
I did, but in a really weird way. Like, it wasn't the beach. I was afraid of going in the pool. I thought the Jaws was going to figure out a way to go through the pipes.
Oh, so your brain would say, "Oh my God, it's going to come up through the KK and get me."
Oh, we didn't have the KK back then, but I thought he'd get through the filtration system.
Oh, a big
And
great white shark would come in
and
through the
there's
filter.
a big old, and then that's
So
it.
it scared the hell out of
You
me.
in the pool, shark in the pool. Fear to be sweet, but it was an inflatable he was afraid of. He just didn't know because he was a little guy.
That's
As a
right.
little guy. But I used to love. I mean, like one of my favorite things to do was we'd play Army Survivor. It was that kind of thing where we would play like we were our plane had crashed and we're on a raft in the ocean, and we're trying to figure out how to survive, and we're trying to signal like any kind of ships or anything like that, but we're like trying to survive on this raft, and we're in the middle of the ocean. That was a thing I used to play with my friends
In the pool.
in the pool.
Okay,
You
that's
know
cool.
you know what I'm thinking about? I want a replica of Murray Hamilton, the mayor of Amity's blazer. You remember that? It had anchors on it. What a great textile. That blazer with anchors on it.
You
Right.
really want that?
I would wear that. I love
Really?
it.
He's the guy that was like chain smoking. Like, okay, I don't know if we can close the pool.
Yeah.
We know it's July 4th.
Close the pool.
Or
See the
close the
pool?
beach.
Yeah,
Sorry, see.
pool, the
see
beach.
pools on my mind.
No, stick with the pool theme.
Oh,
like
my
it.
God.
We had to
That's-
close it with-
but-
We are not closing that pool. Oh, he was also in The Graduate. Do you remember? He was.
No. Really?
He was married to Mrs. Robinson. He was Mr. Robinson.
I
my
didn't realize that. No.
And
Oh,
one
good
night.
call.
Okay, I'm adding that to our cinema list, Brett. The Graduate.
Graduate, I love that movie.
Yeah. So
it's the better version of Garden State.
So yeah. So Ben comes over and he's shitting his ass, and Murray pulls out the cigar. Ben, because also Ben is dating his daughter
Yeah.
and his wife.
Right.
Ben, how long have you and I known each other? A very long time, sir. How long have you been dating Mike? You remember that scene?
I do.
I mean, that is the ultimate
I don't remember being so vocally
father.
like.
Well, he's busting off. He bites off the end of the cigar.
Oh, okay.
Because he doesn't take a clip. He just and he's adjusting his drink. It's the old days, right? It's 1969 when it was a tumbler of brown liquid and a cigar, and I'm gonna bust this kid's balls. You remember that scene?
I do. I didn't realize that it was the same guy.
Murray Hamilton.
Wow.
That's
Isn't
amazing.
he wonderful?
Yeah, he was great.
He didn't wear an anchor blazer in that scene.
That's nice. Variety.
But you can see that like on Instagram or whatever, Facebook. You can see an ad for that blazer come up in your search. You know what I mean? Because if you type Jaws, it'll eventually.
Well, then why haven't you purchased it?
Well, no, I'm not saying I've actually seen it, but I could imagine you would
okay.
see that blazer.
It may now.
Next question.
Oh boy.
Well, Brett is here, so we have to get to a lot of layers of Brett. One layer is that, and he's done this with you, but I think you're doing this solo now. You're writing a play or you're writing a script. You're writing something right now, a new project, right?
Well, I've written a radio play.
You've written a radio
Radio
play.
play series.
Now, when
Theater
you-
of the mind.
It's a theater of the mind. So
True and
is,
sincere.
Is it going to be kind of like in different parts of a podcast or?
Yeah, I mean, the idea is like I grew up listening to radio plays, radio theater, CBS Radio Mystery Theater. Every time we'd go on vacation, my favorite part was when we'd be in the car traveling to the destination, and my dad had a reel-to-reel. It's before we had like cassette tapes or DVD players. He had a reel-to-reel player on the dashboard. Plugged it into the
No.
cigarette
Yeah,
lighter.
he was a sound guy, wasn't he?
He had
acoustic
wait,
engineering.
he would play an actual reel-to-reel machine in the car. That's pretty badass.
So he would play that,
Wow.
and it would be CBS Radio Mystery Theaters. Who's narrator? E.G. Marshall.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, how great!
Who was the president in Superman?
Yeah, and he was also in Creepshow with the bugs.
Yes, he was.
And he took
Right.
the little
Mr. White.
Kleenex. And
He was in a lot of stuff.
When they put the Kleenex down the suck slot, it went. Brett and I just did it at the same time.
same time.
Let's do it one more time, Brett.
And he did. He also did 12 Angry Men.
Oh, right.
Yes,
He was in
one
a
the
lot of
glasses.
dramas.
Yeah, he's a great actor. He's got a great voice, and he was the narrator. And he would just he would introduce the stuff, and it would be in 3 acts. And so you go, this is Act 1, and then they do break, commercial, and then he'd come back with the music that always sounded like a weird, angry elephant to me. It was just a creaking door. And then Act 2, then Act 3, and then he'd sum it up at the end.
And you loved the whole format.
I love the format. It was just so, because what it was, we'd be traveling at night, and I'd be watching out, and a lot of America is just flat landscape. It's just nothing out there.
Will you do cross-country trips?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'd go all over. I've been to all
Lake Havasu.
Lake Powell, Lake
Yeah,
Havasu, been on the East Coast. And, and so we would travel, and when you're going through the Midwest, it's just flat.
Right.
There's nothing out there. And so you look
Iowa
out there.
and Kansas and all those
Yeah,
states.
you're just looking at the flatlands, and it's just dark. And you just kind of see just this basic flat area out there. And then
And your mind
you hear
can
the
wander.
play. You hear the radio play going on, and it's telling the story, and you just start populating it. And you start hearing the voices, and you go, oh, they look like this. They're a redhead. Oh, that's one who has a red tie. They have black shoes. And then you start you start casting it.
Sure.
And you start seeing the whole thing, and it was just really like a great fantasy.
Wow.
Because
That's really cool.
I always wanted to go to the movies or see TV, but that's what we had, and so but it also just it really it fertilized my mind.
Sure. It looks way better in your mind than it probably would in real life.
Exactly,
You know.
because you make it so specific to what you're seeing.
Right.
Like when they're talking about a twisted form.
Right.
It's like, what exactly does that look like? And so it's like, for some reason, it was translucent.
I have to ask a weird question, just because I deal with gear and I'm a musician. If the car is traveling with a reel-to-reel machine, is it bolted to the dashboard? Is it falling down sometimes? Is it someone's lap? Where
It
is this
never
machine?
fell. It was on the dashboard.
And it just stayed there the
never-
whole trip.
It was
That's amazing.
Because it wasn't a small one. It was pretty. So it was heavy.
Yeah, I mean,
so it was just
reel-to-reels
weighted.
are big, and probably part of the visual is you're listening, but you're watching the reels going around all the time.
They
but it
had
was flat.
flatter,
It was
bigger
flat.
Oh, it was a
It
flat
was-
one.
So
Oh.
it wasn't up. It wasn't like you're
I
looking
see.
at the actual spinning.
I
It
see.
was down like that.
Your dad had access to all this gear?
Yeah, he's an acoustical engineer
He was an acoustical engineer for Bell Labs or something, or
for Bolt, Brannick, and Newman, BBN.
was he in it? Did he build things?
He would build woodwork stuff, but not electronically.
Okay, but you grew up with sound and technology.
But
and
with
all.
sound, and this is
That's
another thing.
cool.
Just to tie this back in
That's
a little
really
bit.
cool.
So he used to scuba dive, and one time he went up too fast, and he got the bends and lost part of his hearing.
Oh wow!
So he's 50% deaf in one ear.
Wow.
Yet he was an acoustical engineer.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
So another reason why I'm good on the ocean.
Right. It could have went either way because his scuba diving, acumen and interest could have rubbed off on you, but you went, no, I'm good. You saw how bad it could be.
I saw the bad thing. and I'm
Right.
like, oh that's what I do. Is that wisdom or is that just fear and pessimism?
Yes,
And you start.
it's fear and pessimism.
Well,
It's
then
called.
I've got that.
There you go. Thanks, Dad.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. We all get our fears from our parents.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's true.
I have to ask, so then you've got the precursor of the idea of I love this format.
Yeah.
So you decide I'm going to write my own radio play, right?
Well, it started off as a series. I wanted to do a TV series, and I said, "Hey, who do I have contact with?"
Oh, this started to be
No
TV.
one. It was a TV series that I wrote.
How can I get this out? I can't.
So I said, well, I can't produce a TV series. And so I said, well, and we did Red Leaf together, but that was much more of a minimized
Red Leaf Complex available on Vimeo. I'm still paying for that fucking site.
Sorry about that.
No, that's right.
And but that was more digestible 10-minute chunks. These are 60-minute episodes.
Right. Oh, 60-minute apiece.
60
That's a
minute
lot of
piece.
writing.
Yeah. And so it was the kind of thing where I wrote it because I was like, I want to do something and I want to tell the story that I want to hear. And then, so COVID happened. We had lockdown, and I said, well, I can't produce this. So, well, maybe I'll make it into a TV, I'll make it into a radio play. And so I just transferred and I made one of the main characters a narrator.
That's fantastic.
And so then it just turned into that. And then I just said, I have all the actors. I know I can just cast all my friends,
Right.
and they've been wonderful coming in.
So
and
are you
doing
recording
things.
it in your own studio, and it's just going to be an audio thing only? And is it? I don't want to give it away, but is it more drama? Is it horror based?
Oh, it's a horror.
It's a horror. Okay.
Yes.
Because you
It's-
are a master of the macabre.
I don't know if I'm a master, but I love the storytelling because you can do.
He's a master, believe me.
It's very kind.
know
I'm a
he
big
is.
fan of his stuff.
Me too.
The funny thing is, he always says, "Yeah, I'm writing this horror thing," and it winds up being the funniest comedy I've ever read.
Yeah, but a lot of great horror is funny.
I know, but I don't like. But the problem, not the problem with Brett, but the thing about Brett, and the problem with me is, I don't like horror and comedy mixed ever. I don't like it. I don't like it. But for some reason, he makes horror thought provoking, unique, confusing, bewildering, dreadful, and fucking hilarious. I mean, I can't believe how funny this thing is.
I
You
can't
know?
wait to hear it. What's it called, by the way?
1968 Black Flower Drive.
All right. Enough
Yes.
said.
And the log line of it is
This is just a little teaser because
Absolutely.
the damn thing is coming.
Well, it's still in process.
before the end of the year. But yeah,
Okay.
the recording process is still going.
Right.
So without being premature,
Sure.
it's just planting a little seed.
That's all. I just want to plant seeds.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
in October. That's when we plan to release it because
Okay.
I'm working on episode 5 of putting the music and the Foley in there, and
He's
and-
like a sound designer now. It's crazy.
yeah, putting all the sounds in there. And stuff
Well,
like
you're
that,
an
which is
excellent
interesting.
musician. Of course, you could do this. Well, you do. You do everything.
Well, that's very kind. It's very strange though because you don't know what actually is going to work. Like the different sounds of like, do we need the sound here or do we not need the sound? And then you start making artistic decisions. Like,
Sure.
for instance, there's a lot of like shutting the doors and being isolated. And so like sometimes I say, we don't want to have that door sound in there. But sometimes you go, it's important to have the door shut.
Right.
Or door open.
Right.
So,
Or
like-
even if people listen, obviously, with headphones on, and let's say you have someone walking, you have shoes walking, but then you can pan it left and right, so it go. You can get the movement of the walking and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly. And one of the things we want to do is like we want to open up the world. So I'm starting at like narrator's center, and then we have basically 2 and 10 is the voices and
Right.
a lot of the sound.
Right.
And as the episodes grow, we're moving the sound and panning it out.
Okay.
So by the end, we're using the entire spectrum.
Right, right.
So like you're basically being immersed.
Yes, you're
into
engulfed in the
world.
whole conversation.
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
That's kind of the idea.
I have to ask then, if every single episode is an hour, how many episodes do you want?
9. Well, it's already written. It's already written.
Oh, you've written 9 hours of dialogue.
The last one's about an hour and a half.
Wow.
Because that's the biggie. That's when a lot of stuff gets revealed. Originally, I wrote 6 episodes, and I'm like, it's kind of a cliffhanger. I'm like, that'll be cool. And then during COVID, I was like, I hate when you watch, because I watch a bunch of, I binge a bunch of series, but it's horrible when you're watching a show and you go, hey, you didn't answer this or this or this. And sometimes they don't know the answer, which is why they don't answer it. But I'm like, I know the answer. So then I have to address it.
Right.
So I wrote 3 extra episodes.
I see.
To kind of fill out that whole arc.
So people are not going to walk away saying, how did they go from A to B or A to D?
It's like, why did A happen? Why
Yes.
did B happen?
How did it end up this way with no precursor? It doesn't make any sense. Yeah,
and
I
so
get
now
that.
it's like let's answer those things.
Yes.
And still leaving some mystery out there. I think there always should be some element where even the writer doesn't understand how that happened. Mm-hmm. Because that way there's always a mystery.
Yes.
And there's always ambiguity.
And let it be open to the listener's interpretation.
Exactly. Because I love it.
Let the listener write it.
For me, it's like it's best when an audience member leaves a play or even a concert, whatever, and they discuss it. They talk about it. They're like going,
Sure.
oh, well, what do you think that meant there? Oh, I think it meant this. Oh, I think it meant this.
It's all good.
Yeah.
It's all that. It's like lyrics
Discussion.
to a song. You hear a song. Oh, he meant this. Oh, no. He or she meant this. It's all valid.
Yeah. And that's my favorite when you get that conversation
Right.
because nothing's worse than you leave a movie and you're talking with your buddy and you're going, and then you're like going, did we see something? Did we watch it? And then the next day you're like, we should go see that movie. It's like, we just saw it last night. It's like it just goes out of your mind.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Popcorn movies and some things that are just entertainment, they have their place and I love them too. But I didn't want to invest time into something that's not discussion worthy.
Right.
Brett,
Right.
why are you so into horror? What is it about horror? You've done a lot of it now.
So one of the first movies I ever watched was called Arnold. And it was about
A Suitable Case for Treatment, Arnold?
No,
That guy? I think I know that movie. That was the subtitle, right?
I don't think so.
Okay.
The opening sequence was a young, beautiful woman getting married to an old dead guy.
Oh.
There was a coffin literally on the altar. And then the rest of the whole movie is he has all this money. And so all the relatives want to figure out how to get the money. So he had these cassette tapes that you would plug into. They could have been, 8 tracks or something. I don't even remember what the technology was. But you plugged them into the coffin. That was the coffin table in the middle of the living room. And they would all listen to it. And it would give clues to where the treasure is. And all he had was booby traps around the house and how they'd all get killed.
Wow. And that rocked your world.
That rocked my world because I wanted to see it because I saw the preview, but it terrified me. I was scared the entire time. I saw it with my 3 older brothers, and I kept talking to my brother Scott, my oldest brother, and say, "Hey, you want to go out to the lobby and you want to see if there's popcorn out there or something? You want to go?"
You saw it in theaters.
Saw it in the theater. I was 7? I was really, really too young to see this movie. Rated R. And I think it might have been a farce.
But you didn't know.
I didn't know. I just was terrified the entire movie because everyone dies.
Wow.
Everyone dies.
And you thought, I love this world.
I think that and listen to the CBS Radio Mystery Theaters. Yeah. I just went like, I was most familiar with that.
Yeah.
And so maybe that's why I just kept going back to it.
Uh-huh.
But like people like drawing like, I want to draw my little house or I want to draw flowers or birds. I would always draw tombstones.
Wow.
As a kid.
Did teachers call your parents and say, "Hey, something's wrong with Brett"?
We got a Tim Burton on our hands.
I think we've got a serial killer in the making.
Well, I don't think that was the thing. If I was doing that now, I literally in high school I wrote a school shooting short story.
Whoa!
Oh!
And I gave it to the teacher, and he was like, "Oh, that's great! It's a great story." The twist was it was the teacher that went out and killed all the students. Maybe that's why he read it in class.
Maybe so.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was way pre-Colin.
Wow.
Yeah. But I just thought that was interesting because I was high school is
cool.
so.
And that teacher's name was Jeffrey Dahmer.
Jeffrey Dahmer?
Yes.
Mr. Dahmer.
Okay, that's true.
We couldn't say Jeff back then, yeah.
That's true. Mr.
Mr.
Dahmer. Why is my arm missing?
He was so.
Hey, Brett, I just wanted to say if you'd like to come over, one night and maybe have a couple of beers, it'd be great to have you over.
That's totally what he sounded like. Much more eye contact, though. He had too much eye contact. It was really uncomfortable. He would just stare at you and then wouldn't look away. And
So
that's
do
really
you want to
creepy.
take some photographs? I'm kind of an amateur photographer.
I just got to go home. We're on a camping trip.
Well, how about one more beer and I'll take a couple of photos?
I've had 4 already, and I'm too young to have this
You're
anyway.
all right. Maybe you should just relax a little
Just
bit. On
don't
the
put your
couch
hand
and
on my
I'll take
thigh
a
anymore.
couple of
Don't put your hand on my thigh.
photos.
Okay. I'm feeling really kind of dizzy.
Somebody's eating tonight.
There we go.
Eating good in the neighborhood.
Lorenzo, did you see Dahmer on Netflix?
I actually didn't.
Oh,
Dude,
really?
I heard it was
It's
fantastic.
a masterpiece.
Yeah,
Yes.
that guy's great.
It is the last great horror thing.
All
I've
right,
seen.
I'll see it on your recommendation. I have to make sure my wife is not in the room.
No.
Oh, will she not like it? She
Oh
doesn't
my
like it?
God, she won't give it 10 seconds.
No.
It's got to be puppy dogs and kittens for her to like it.
My wife was the same way. Did not like horror films, and I think what I kind of introduced Dexter to her, and then
Right.
she kind of like she got endeared by it.
Okay.
and then she started watching it. It's like, okay, great, and now she watches horror stuff on her own.
Oh,
So
she
I-
converted.
What is Sarah
I don't.
watching?
She watched the whole Halloween series. She knows more than I do about
I wish
Halloween.
I would have known. I would have come over and watched it with her.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Now you can turn on a human centipede. You can have a human.
I think that might be the line though. human
It is kind of a line, isn't it?
Brett, why do I love the human centipede so much?
I think you love the grotesque. I think you love the grotesque because maybe it's the kind of thing where you go like, that's so grotesque, I'm better than that. I'm not that gross, or I'm not that way, or something like that. Something along, I still haven't figured it out yet, but you love your drawings and your artistry is so, you love making things that are so like, ugh, that's too much. And I know when we write together, it's like you love putting in the extra stuff. That's like going, why didn't he? Okay, yeah, let's have them have 2 heads. It's like I remember when we were working
No,
on
talk about the 5 assholes argument. Let's do it.
the 5 assholes argument, which is my favorite thing. And it was a great learning experience as a writer too, because all right, so let's see. The basic premise is
We were writing a screenplay together.
yes, 2 hitmen in hell.
Yes.
And so they're working for the devil. And so we're like, all right, and the devil's having a party. And the party's winding down. He's shooting people. He's just going nuts there. And he's like kind of a gangster kind of guy. That's the way we played him. What was his name? Dino, right?
Dino.
Okay. And so at one point his butler,
Oh my God.
I can't believe we're going here. His butler is sodomizing a young Filipino boy.
As you do in hell.
As you do in hell. And then, but
Very Dante's Inferno.
he's doing this also he's got no genitalia. He just has a strap on.
All right.
So, and then after a while, Dino goes, "Hey, come over here. What was his name? Walter, what was his name?"
Franz. How could we forget?
So he brings him over and he says, "Bend over. Show me your assholes." And we're writing it and I go, "Record scratch? Excuse me? Assholes?" And he went, "Yeah, he's got 5 assholes."
Oh.
And he's all, he should say that. "Show me your 5 assholes." And I went, 5? What? What's happening? And then so I went, all right, it's a hill I don't want to die on. We'll address this later. And we just left it in the script. And then
But
later,
each asshole has a different color around it,
Oh
like
my
lipstick.
well, that got detailed later.
Oh, it did?
Because at first, actually, I believe he was just sodomizing the Filipino kid.
Yeah.
And then we realized
Yeah.
later, I was like going, all right, I've got to embrace this or fight this 5 assholes thing. And then he just said like 5 assholes. And I went, hold on. If he's in hell and he's the devil and this guy's a demon and the devil tries to make everything anti-God. So he doesn't want to make anything looking like or resembling humans. So what better way then to cut away the masculine part of a man, cut off his penis,
Right.
give him 5 assholes. So all he's doing is pooping and crapping.
Right.
And then so it's like,
God.
this is just an abomination.
He's got 9 colons and 5 assholes.
He's an abomination of a man.
Right.
And so
He's not human at all.
Yeah. And then it was like, yeah. And so then I embraced it. And I realized sometimes just by throwing out the absurd, weird thing, okay, then it makes sense.
It kind of makes sense. Now, did this actually come to fruition?
We have not done it. We've written it. We may animate it at one point.
This sounds like more like an animation,
We have had
especially with the 5 assholes.
this
Yeah,
5
5 assholes.
assholes movie. We have had multiple readings with groups to get notes back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
Our poor friends. I feel so bad for
in
our
the
friends.
notes, does the 5 asshole dynamic make the cut?
No one seems to have a problem.
No one has a
Really?
problem with that. There are so many other offensive things in there. There are
That's the
so
least.
many.
I
There's
see.
so many weird, and they go, "Wait, what's happening
The
here?"
guy with 20 testicles or something?
There's no other grotesque things like that, but it's like there is just, yeah, it goes on a fantastical ride.
Wow.
And it's like, I've learned that though with Max is that he'll put something in there that's like, that's out there. And then you go, I guess that can work. Now, sometimes I do go, we're not doing that.
Yeah. But you're just basically brainstorming. Not everything's going to make the cut. you
Right,
know.
but it is an interesting thing, like in like when you're working on a song or a musical piece, and you go, "We're going to go to 7/8 on the bridge."
Yeah.
and you go, "Why?" It's like, let's just try it.
Yeah.
And then you go, "Oh my gosh, that makes sense."
it works.
because it feels like you're getting
Yeah.
a little unsettled here, and then
Right.
it goes back to 4/4.
Exactly.
Works itself out.
Right. Exactly.
What could be more horrible than 5 assholes?
That would be pretty.
Between 2 giant.
No genitalia, just 5
Right.
assholes.
And can you imagine that person actually having IBS?
Oh.
That would be awful.
The thing about the human centipede, for misconceptions, for anyone that's avoided it, if
Yes.
you think it's ass to mouth, you're wrong. The ass to mouth suggestion is very subtle. You don't actually, you don't actually see mouths in the first film, rather. Let's just talk about the first film.
the second film.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely seamless art. Tom Six is a horror visionary. He is one of the most brilliant filmmakers I have ever witnessed in my godforsaken life on this shithole planet. And he really went to town with this human centipede. He presented an idea that was so disgusting and outrageous and shocking and awful. And honestly, I think it's a work of art. And you don't actually see Mao. It's suggested. You'll see a form. I don't want to give too much away. You'll see a form of the human centipede, but you won't see actual carnage dealing with mouth to ass.
Right.
Is that fair to say?
It is fair to say. You do see a little more than just suggestive, but the thing about it is, it's such a provocative image that you just go, you're there.
Well, it entered into pop culture. It's still going on.
Yeah. It's still talked about.
Tom Six is still, on stupid X, but he's still posting. Well, another reference to Human Centipede showed up today in media.
Yeah, it's always. And the second one I thought was a really interesting idea.
Yeah, great idea.
How it's basically the idea that the Human Centipede movie exists in Human Centipede 2.
It's really
It's
smart.
a guy who tries to make
really
his own
smart.
version of it.
Right,
It's
right.
so
No,
smart.
that was actually very, very
Oh,
creative.
you've seen it?
Well,
I showed him to him.
Max showed me, forced me. I'm sorry, not forced me, but showed me the movie.
I made him sit through.
I was bound. I couldn't leave under my own free will, but that was okay. I forgave you. We saw it. I'm good. I know you've probably seen it 10 times, maybe 20. I'm good with 25.
Yeah.
But
He was very nice to endure.
it was something that it sticks with you.
That's the idea.
It does stick with you. I will never forget it.
Exactly.
Do I want to see it again? I do not.
Never.
I do not.
I just
But-
went through all three of them again, by the way.
Of course you did.
The third one I can't stand.
It's terrible.
It's really, really terrible.
Yeah.
Third one is
I don't know what happened there.
I think he just went too farcical.
Maybe it
Too
was just
satirical.
pressure to make another one because the other two was so successful.
I feel you're very
Maybe-
correct in that.
Maybe it was kind of like the Godfather 3 kind of thing.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's a great analogy.
Yeah,
actually,
I think you're right.
Yeah.
And then, but
now, what if the Godfather was the Godfather centipede?
Oh
What
my
if you
gosh.
take the Godfather and put human
they were
centipede?
kind of trying
and
to.
you basically kind of go, I'm going to make you an asshole you can't refuse.
I'm gonna sell you.
Oh, is the Godfather sewn to him to the ass, or is he going to make that?
Listen,
How do we do this?
Don't
I'm
listen.
thinking that the Godfather is going to be the guy to make everybody do the thing.
Oh, I thought he would have been actually one of the guys involved because he had the
He could
orange
have-
peel in the mouth.
There you go.
It's
He
kinda
could have
like,
been.
"Rrr, rrr." He's like messing with that. There was a horse head
True.
involved. So
Michael, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to deal with the Salazzo business by making Salazzo part of a human centipede.
he makes.
What do you mean? Wow. What do you mean? Human centipede? What is that, Pop?
Bada bip, bada boop, bada boop. Santino comes in.
That's right. And then Tony comes in. It's the Soprano centipede.
Oh
No,
my
I gotta
gosh!
tell you, this fucking ass to mouth idea, it's not bad.
So, but he's making the other people do it. So it's still.
Yeah, I don't
okay.
know. We got to figure it out.
Yeah,
We're going to
'cause
figure out
I
the
thought
Godfather.
I thought he'd make his own crew do it.
Yeah, that's what
Okay.
Yeah, like okay, so Clemenza is up front. He's
Okay.
the first. He's the Japanese guy, right?
Okay.
And then the middle guy would be. It would have to be Fish. Ava Goda. Tessio. He would have to be the middle guy because he obviously
middle's
broke.
the worst, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Middle's the worst because you're damaging and you're
Yeah.
also getting the damage.
Right.
And
exactly.
the end guy
That-
would be that motherfucker who came in with a cold and hey, yeah, you all right? You all right? You want to get something to eat? Have that guy fucking whack. That little guy, that little rodent guy who came in. Well, let's get back to Brett.
No. This is good. This is that.
We're gonna figure it out. We're
Okay,
gonna
we'll
figure
figure it
it
out.
out.
Okay.
We're figure it out.
At least
That's
this
fair.
could be a 3-minute video.
Yeah, now that the book's
Godfather
done, I'm going to
centipede.
switch to
The
animation.
Godfather peed.
That's right. So I'm going to switch gears. Okay,
Oh.
number one, I cannot wait for this to come out. I'm going to listen to every episode, and it's going to be great. It's just
I
another
believe
layer.
him.
To
That's very sweet.
No,
Max is amazing in it. He plays like 5 to 7 different characters.
Wow.
At least in it. Yes.
Wow. And just going back to what we said before, every single asshole has got to have a different voice in your asshole character. So he's got to play all 5 assholes.
Okay. Well, that's for the movie thing.
That's right. That's
okay.
right.
All right. Oh, okay. So are they going to be speaking? Are they sentient?
Maybe.
Well,
The
they do
assholes?
little kissy sounds.
They do that because
Okay.
and they're all different
and little,
colors.
Little
Okay.
sucky sounds.
And then he says, and then Dino says, "Why'd you put lipstick on it?" He's like,
Yeah.
"What lipstick?"
Oh.
Yeah.
I forgot that part.
Yeah. It's like, well, once it became grotesque, it's like, well, let's make it completely
How many
grotesque.
people have stopped listening by now?
I would say probably all four of them. All four people have probably turned it
My
off.
apologies. My apologies.
They're probably listening to Smart List or something.
Hey, Lorenzo, I suggest now at the 40-minute mark, we stop and then make it a part 2 with the next 40 minutes.
You think so?
And then we wrap it up.
All right, because I've got more questions. We have more
Hold on
layers.
to those questions.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to end this part here. Make it part 1.
Part 1
We're
with
coming
Brett
back with
Pearsons.
part 2. Thank you,
That's very
guys.
sweet.
Thanks for listening to part 1 if you made it to minute number 40. Don't hang up. Don't change that dial. And come back for part 2.
Woo! Brett Pearsons. Isn't he interesting?